Hi, my name is Holly Basley. I'm the founder and CEO of Hybrid Games Board Game Learning, and I invent board games for schools to help students learn science. So, first, I'm going to talk about who I am and how I got to making board games in the first place. So, I studied an arts course called Interactive Arts for 3 years at university, and I'm predominantly an artist, and now I'm turned entrepreneur. And at university, I was really interested in science communication and how you could use simple things like games and simple graphics to communicate quite complex issues. One area of science that I became really passionate about researching is antibiotic resistance. At the moment, the world is in a bit of a crisis, and it's a sort of unknown one where by 2050, antibiotic resistance could cause 10 million deaths globally due to how bacteria mutates, making our strongest antibiotics ineffective. So I wanted to create a game where I could bring rise to this issue and also teach players how you can use antibiotics effectively, as well as covering stuff about viruses, which was interesting that I made this back in 2019 before the pandemic happened. But here you are is a picture of some of my friends playing my game when I had finished it. So this was 6 months of work with testing the game, taking it to different ball game nights, trying out different prints, trying out different pieces to get everything to work together perfectly. A very quick overview of the game is that players start from each bed. We have 4 players, and their mission is to get to the center the fastest. But as they go along, each time they will interact with a bacteria or virus infection via a card. For example, this one here, which says, you have chickenpox, do you take antibiotics? And you've got a 50-50 answer of figuring out whether you answer yes or no. If you answer incorrectly, you can't go. But if you answer correctly, you can go again. And along the way, there are chance cards, and sometimes these chance cards also affect all the players in the game. So as you go along, you're learning about viruses, antibiotics, and how you can take them responsibly, but also having a lot of fun. I've done this board game now with thousands of students, and every single time they always say that they wanted to play longer and wanted to play again, which is really great to hear after when I first made it back in 2019, only having my friends had played it, so I had no idea really if it would work in a school setting. So this is going to bring me to how I actually started my business. And I started my business with a purpose. So my purpose was the fact that I was really interested in how science can be adapted for those on the neurodiversity spectrum. Usually this is used for autism and autism spectrum disorder, but it can also be referred to as many other things like dyslexia, dyscalculia, ADHD, and these are all classified as special learning needs or special needs education in schools, where you might either have a school that is dedicated to helping those sort of students, or you might just have a normal school where a lot of these students have these problems, maybe even unaware that they have them, and they are struggling to keep up in lessons, to pay attention, to listen, to read, to write, all different things that I really struggled with in school. And what's even sadder is the National Science Foundation research showed that only 6% of the 5.4 million members of the STEM workforce have a disability, or at least have declared that they have a disability, which means so many people along the way in their school years are being turned away from STEM careers just because of how it is taught in school and how difficult is being presented to us, which is why I wanted to simplify it by making games. So before I could jump into taking my games into schools, I had to write a business plan and how they work. Thank you all for listening so much. It's been a real pleasure to make this talk for you, and I hope you all see yourself now as being people who can start your own business.